Now, we can also do confidence intervals for these two data sets. And instead of a t-test, we're going to be doing a t-interval because, again, we still don't have sigma. We still have only samples, so we can only find the sample standard deviation. We won't be able to ever find sigma then. So we are doing a t-interval. But we'll do the same exact thing that we've been doing all along, which is we'll take our list 1, subtract our list 2, and store it into list 3, and then we'll do the t-interval on just our difference, the list 3, just to make our lives a whole lot easier. So we'll do our t-interval on our list 3. So it'll look almost exactly the same as what you were doing for t-tests. You'll go to your main screen, just like before. You'll do your list 1 minus your list 2. Use your little arrow key, which is the STA key, and make sure it goes into list 3, and you'll press enter, which will go ahead and put into list 3 all of the entries from list 1 minus list 2 will already just end up right in list 3. And then all you're doing is a t-interval, because we're making confidence intervals now, on what was in list 3, your difference. So then when you go to do your t-interval, you're doing it on data. Make sure it says list 3. If you had been working on a previous chapter, it still may say list 1, and vice versa. If you go to study for the final exam, make sure you know which chapter you're in so you know whether or not that should be a list 1 or a list 3. The frequency you should never be altering, should stay as 1. Confidence level is going to either have to be given in your problem or you're going to have to determine that, but it'll be something that's somehow given in the problem. You'll press calculate, and then it will go ahead and just directly give you the confidence interval. So let's try it on the same exact example that we just did. So let's try it with this first example. This first example has a bunch of temperatures, and we want to construct a 95% confidence interval estimate for again, here's your hint, you're actually going to look at the difference between the two. So even though you have two lists, we have a list 1 and a list 2, we don't want to look at list 1 and list 2 separately. We want to look at the difference, just like in the last one when we were doing testing. So what we'll do is we'll enter in all of our information from the 8 a.m. list into our list 1 in our calculator, and we will enter in all of our information from our 12 a.m. into our list 2, and then we'll go to our main screen on our calculator and we'll do L1 minus L2, and then we'll use our little STO key to get them up with the arrow, the STO key, and then we'll do list 3, and that's going to be what we're going to end up doing our test on, is just list 3, because that's our difference. So we will do a t-interval, because we've got samples here, on our list 3, the difference. So what will this look like? Well, here's our list 1 and our calculator. This is what it would look like. So we've got our list 1, the 8 a.m. slot, and then we have our list 2, which was our 12 a.m. And then, like I said, we have our calculator figure out what list 3 is. It would spit it out down here. I would reopen your list just to make sure it really did put list 3 in there. And that's going to be what you're actually going to care about is your difference, your differences. And then, remember, I'm doing a confidence interval. Then I can just do my confidence interval, my t-interval, just only on our list 3 that we came up with. So I'll do my t-interval on, I've got a set of data, only list 3. Just like before, we're going to leave our frequency as 1. They did give me a confidence interval of, let's see, they gave me a confidence interval of 95%, so 0.95. And then I will select calculate the last option. And right off the bat, it spits out the confidence interval, negative 2.316 to comma 0.516, depending on how you round. And that is your confidence interval for your difference. Be careful. They did ask that we do the difference between the 8 a.m. temperatures and the 12 a.m. temperatures, and in that order. So it really does matter which one you put in your list 1 and which one you put in your list 2. Whichever one they mention first should be going in your list 1. And the second one should go in as your list 2, because remember, differences or subtraction, it does matter which one you input first and which one you input second. It will switch all your signs, which means your confidence interval would have switch signs as well. So just be careful when you're inputting your data. But that's really the only problem you have to worry about.